Hey, I'm Scott Porter, the founder of San Diablo Artisan Churros. During the COVID pandemic, we made a pivotal decision to shift our business from the catering and events business to churro products that you could make and have in your home. Let's get into the story of why this had to happen and how we made it a reality. Since 2016, we've handmade literally millions of fresh churros on our mission to fill lives with happiness, one churro at a time. And we've done that at more than 8,000 weddings, corporate parties, festivals, and sporting events, and with 35,000 churro making kits sold worldwide. Recently, we launched our new frozen take and bake churros and our snackable itty bitty churros so that everyone can have churros on demand. You can find us in Super Targets, Associated Foods, and Harmons. More to come. And we're going wholesale with frozen churros to restaurants, theme parks, and sporting venues looking to help people live their best churro lives. So we all remember, there's actually not a person on the planet that doesn't remember what happened in March of 2020. It was the middle of the month, and all of a sudden we were in our leadership meeting, and the phone began to ring, and emails dinging, text dinging, everyone canceling all events everywhere for the next several months. We had heard about this thing, COVID-19, and obviously the pandemic began. And so as an events-based business, for the past almost 4 years, this hit us pretty hard. Obviously, the foundation of our business was doing catering at weddings and parties and corporate events. And we had a food truck and we were at fairs and festivals. And so to have all of those, the rug pulled out from under us instantly from one day to the next was pretty devastating. I remember being in that meeting and I looked at our leadership team. We all looked at each other like, what are we going to do? And it was like, well, let's figure this out. Let's see what we can do. How do we modify and iterate in a time of crisis, in a time where if we are going to survive and eventually thrive, we needed to do something different than what we had been previously doing for almost 4 years. So we hit the whiteboard. We had a brainstorming session. We talked through all of the resources that we have and contacts, ideas. What can we do? We had been making churros for people for so long, and we thought, well, what if we actually take the churro making power to the people? What would that look like? And we were, so that kind of was in the beginning little seedlings of that idea. We were also pursuing ideas with other local businesses here to help, rally together and come together and be stronger as a collective. And so, called up my friend Sal and Ethan at Thirst Drinks and at Soba Eats, and we're like, hey, what if we did a quarantine survival kit? And you guys, and it was like, I remember those days when no one was going out and all you could do was order food in. And it was, and there were, people could go, at least here in Utah, could go to food trucks because it was open air, and of course everyone masked up and gloved up and all the safety precautions for sure. But we decided to do this quarantine survival kit. So we had, you could get a whole dinner kit of amazing tacos from Soba Eats. You had our churros from San Diablo, and you had your soda, customized soda and dirty soda drinks from Thirst. And so it was a big hit for about a month, and everyone is into it, supporting local businesses. How do we help keep everyone thriving and surviving in these uncertain times? But we knew that was, actually no one knew what was coming next or how to iterate and what to do and what was going to be the best way to move forward with all of our individual businesses. So at this time, we're kind of like, oh, let's revisit that idea about taking the churro making power to the people. And I remembered that I had actually done a full business plan around a churro making kit at home, an at-home churro making kit. during my time in my cohort with Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses. It was probably a year and a half earlier. And it was a plan that it sounded great. We full-blown marketing plan, market research, all of the contacts and ideas to actually literally make it happen. That was the outcome of our 12-week intensive coursework with Goldman Sachs. And so I picked up that plan that we didn't actually have time over the last year and a half, kind of dusted it off, and I'm like, you know what? We already have this baked. Let's do this. Let's see if we can make this happen. So, and how do we test the waters and know if this is something that people would really be into? And so we started doing a little bit of investments, and let's make our own churro maker machine, or the kitchen gadget. So started to talk to, product developers and manufacturers in China. So manufacturers always talk about MOQs, or minimum order quantity. So we placed our first order for 5,000 churro makers, these kitchen gadgets. And then we started contacting food manufacturers and recipe developers to take our award-winning churro dough, which is a wet dough. It's kind of like Play-Doh, but they call it a wet dough in the manufacturing world because it has moisture in it. So it's flour, butter, water, egg, salt, Mexican vanilla, obviously lots of love, but this is a wet dough. So how do we get this the really signature and distinctive San Diablo churro taste in a powdered form, right? I mean, I'd never thought about that. So we had to contact all of these people and kind of figure out what the best did. All sorts of found someone, did iterations to take our dough and make a powdered version that you just added water to. So what would our whole goal was to, again, take the churro making power to the people, to you, and make it as easy and really demystify the whole churro making experience. We all love churros, but they're also something that's really unique and different, and they're not everywhere. And it's an involved process, right? You have the dough, you have to have the special machine or equipment to be able to squeeze the dough into the hot oil. You have to fry, and then, there's just a lot of pieces involved. And so our goal in creating the churro making kit was to come up with something that was very easy for people to do. That in 3 easy steps, all of a sudden they have churros. And I remember thinking back then, I just want people to use this kit, and the words that I want them to say when they're done is oh my gosh, I can't believe I just made churros. And that was so easy. So the order came in, we got our churro makers, we figured out the churro mix, and we're ready to kind of start assembling this kit. What does it look like? For us, something super important at San Diablo is that we're all about interaction and not just transaction. And we want to create this whole experience around the churro that is different and unique and something special. So given that that's these are our core principles as a business, how do we now take that and productize it? And that's what you have here. This is the outcome of lots of iteration, lots of prototyping, and ultimately thinking through the churro making experience, the unboxing experience. How does experience come into the packaging itself, the messaging on the packaging? This was just a whole new world for us. And so super fun and really exciting to iterate on this process. And thankfully for us, we had several months before the holiday season, which is, prime, obviously, gift-giving season, and gave us some months from when the pandemic started to get something in place for the holidays. So what you see here is what we call the Churro Fiesta in a box, the ultimate churro making kit. So These are obviously our colors, reminiscent of even our food truck. Our food truck has a gold band on top. We wear pinstripe aprons, pinstripes on our food truck, and red is our punch. My tie. We wanted, if this is going to be a gift, it needs to feel special. You want to get the red ribbon on there. So let me show you what's in this kit and kind of like what we thought of in the whole experience. So. First of all, you open the kit. It says it's a Churro Fiesta and everyone's invited. Obviously, a thank you note from me there. And the first thing you see are the horns and the halo. So I have loved watching the unboxing experiences since we've created this because you have multi-generations oftentimes looking to make churros together. The kids will put these on, the parents will put these on, and they're all engaged in this fun, and they're discovering more about our brand, right? That discovery part is something that's really important. Obviously, our name is San Diablo. In another video, I talk about the origin of the name, but it means Saint Devil, Holy Devil. We say our churros are heaven sent, wicked good. So this was part of our way of continuing that to productize the San Diablo in-person live experience. So the horns and halo. Then we also have we created what we call a fiesta planner. So all sorts of fun party ideas here, but even just a brief legend of the churro. In another video, I talk about the origin of the churro, which is super interesting to people. We kind of wanted to create something that was like the back of the cereal box. Like when you're eating cereal in the morning and you're finding out all these fun facts or playing these games or whatever. That's what we wanted to create here, with also clear instructions on how easy it is to make churros. There's even coloring stuff on the back for the kids. Now, something really fun, and this was not immediate, but we came up with this about a year later, Churro University. These are a whole YouTube series of videos that go through how to make churros at home. We wanted to show people how easy it is to make churros at home, and whether you're making them from scratch or with our churro mix, all sorts of different flavors that you can do, fun iterations. That is Churro University on YouTube. Now, that kind of brings up an interesting point, because when we were coming up with the churro mix, we went through this whole, it's shining. We went through this whole internal conflict maybe of hey, our award-winning churros are awesome, but it's our recipe. We used to make our team that would make the dough in the kitchen. We used to make them sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, that they wouldn't share the recipe with anyone. So it was this really interesting moment as an owner where I was we've been really is this Coke's secret recipe that we keep under, in Fort Knox, or do we share the recipe? So as we were thinking through, and as I was internalizing all this, are we giving away our core competency if we share the actual recipe with people? I mean, obviously easy. We can share it in a churro mix, and I mean, they have the ingredients, but it's still, they don't know the ratios and stuff like that. So we can kind of get away with it there. But then we also want people to make lots of churros at home and feel comfortable making churros at home. And if we're going to do these Churro University videos, what is going to happen? So as we thought through the customer experience and the customer journey, it was okay, we're at home, we get our churro kit, it's so much fun, we use the churro mix, and the mix runs out. Well, now I want to make more churros, so what am I going to do? At the time, ChatGPT wasn't a thing, but we'd Google, churro recipe, and you get a mediocre churro recipe, and then you actually don't end up loving making churros at home because it's not a really good recipe. So from our perspective, I was it was this switch that just turned in my head. I'm no, let's give away all the secrets. Let's let everyone know. And not only are we going to give the recipe away, but we're going to show you literally how to make it and what some tips and tricks are to make it turn out. Because it turns out that churro dough is a little finicky and very particular and special. And so we're actually going to give away all the secrets. So on the box and on the Fiesta planner, you scan this QR code here, and then this will take you directly to a full recipe book outlining all of the, giving you all of the instructions on how to make our award-winning churros at home in your kitchen anytime. Also, that sends you to Churro University, so you can see that there too. So it was interesting to kind of go through that process internally as we were iterating our entire business. It's like, well, do we sell our trade secrets? Meaning, do we give them away? And we decided to do it, and it's been amazing. So the churro mix is in the Churro Fiesta in a box. Just add boiling water, very specific instructions, but when it turns out Play-Doh-like consistency, and then you put that dough in. So this is the churro maker. This is where all the magic happens. So once the dough's made, it comes with 9 different nozzles. They all come here. You can get crazy with your different shapes. This is the hollow churro nozzle. So this allows you to make hollow churros. And because we think that's pretty special, we add a little cowbell there. Also part of the productizing of the in-person San Diablo experience, because we have a cowbell always at every event we ever do, because we always need more cowbell, right? So, and then here's the actual churro maker itself. Super easy. Put dough in there, squeeze it out into the hot oil or the air fryer. So just like that. And then once they're fried, top them with our signature cinnamon sugar. You see those beautiful flakes of cinnamon. We grind our own cinnamon, gives it a little bit more of a robust flavor. And then we have our dulce de leche imported from Mexico. So, of course, and there's a couple of other things in here just kind of to add to the experience, but we've got some pitchforks there for stylish eating, and obviously on brand with who we are and what we're all about. So this is the churro making kit, the Churro Fiesta in a box, our COVID pivot, that, over the years since then, we've sold about 35,000 of these churro making kits. And just last night, actually, I was going through some social media posts of people making them at home for the holidays, and it was so amazing to see how many memories people have created at home, across generations, just bringing families together, and always finding a reason to celebrate with churros. And so it's been super fun for us to see how this iteration has really opened us up into a national market, helped us scale and into an e-commerce space as well, and do something that's very different than the beginnings of how San Diablo got started. So thank you so much for watching. Please give us a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to hear a little bit more about all of the ins and outs and the secrets and everything else that's been going on at San Diablo over the years.